It's the most meaningful night in sports. Honoring athletes and coaches from around the country for their character and class.
Everybody switch roles one more time.
Yeah, we want to win. We want to win with everything we've got, but we also want to do it the right way.
Competitors who set the examples of integrity and perseverance.
I can't say enough about, the sportsmanship that he showed. I don't know that there's any other coach in the country that might have thought of that.
And for setting a standard both on and off the field.
Family is a word that's used a lot in sports, but I really feel like we had a family there.
Tonight, we celebrate all that's right in sports. This is the 2012 National Sportsmanship Awards, presented by Maryville University and produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission and the National Sportsmanship Foundation.
Please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, Mike Bush.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this very unique celebration of selflessness, integrity, and compassion in sports. Tonight, you'll meet those responsible for the most inspiring acts of sportsmanship from the past year. We've searched the nation to find the greatest examples of class and character by athletes and coaches, and they've gathered here in St. Louis so we can honor them and their uplifting stories. We begin tonight with one of the most memorable images of sportsmanship from 2012. Megan Vogel thought what she did was something anyone in her shoes would do, but the overwhelming attention and praise she received prove how remarkable her actions were. Take a look.
1, 2, 3, 4, with every run for the win. All Tigers!
Every runner knows that you don't win races with legs, you win them with heart.
Running really isn't a lot of fun, it's a lot of pain.
On this day, dozens of runners have descended on St. Paris, Ohio for the Graham Invitational cross-country meet. The winner, no surprise, 18-year-old Megan Vogel from West Liberty Salem High School, where her mom is the track coach. Winning is apparently in Megan's blood. Jesse Owens Stadium on the campus of The Ohio State University was the site of the 2012 Ohio High School State Track Championships. Though just a junior, Vogel was one of the top seeds in the 1,600 meters.
My junior year, that's kind of when things started cooking for me.
Megan was in third place going into the last lap.
Out of the three girls she was running with, those three, she looked the most relaxed and most ready to make her move when she needed to.
And then with 300 meters to go on the last lap, I just kind of kicked it in.
At the right time, in the right place, she ran her personal best, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And Megan Vogel was a state champion.
I couldn't stop crying when I crossed the line. I mean, to finally achieve something that you've been working for basically your whole life, it's unexplainable.
I mean, we just hugged and obviously shed quite a few tears, and I mean, it was just a special moment.
By winning that race, Megan became the first girl from her high school to win a state track title in more than 20 years. But when people talk about that day, they don't talk about the race where Megan finished first. They talk about the race where Megan finished last. Just 25 minutes after collecting the trophy for the 1,600 meters, she had to collect herself and get ready for the 3,200.
That's what's pretty tough about in between the two races.
Among her opponents in that event was a promising 16-year-old from Findlay, Ohio, named Arden McMath.
We saw her coming up in junior high and thought, hey, we might have something here.
This is the state patch.
Though just a sophomore, McMath started accumulating ribbons and trophies.
This is from my BBC meet.
As a freshman at Arlington High School.
Trained a lot more in the mornings. I started running like every day.
When their race began, Vogel and McMath had never met. By the time it was over, they were linked forever. For the first half of their 2-mile run, both runners were right in the thick of things. But soon, they both started to fall behind.
It was a lot quicker than I usually go, so I definitely wasn't used to it.
So I kind of looked at my mom and I shook my head like, this is not going to be a very good race.
At this point, Arden's only goal was to finish the race. And then the unthinkable happened.
When I first saw Arden go down, it was a little disbelief, you know, that's just not Arden. She doesn't do that.
I think we both, I was sick to my stomach.
Arden McMath had pushed herself so hard she just collapsed. She went down, got up, then she went down again. And it all happened right in front of Megan Vogel.
I had 100 meters to go to the finish line on my last lap, and I noticed Arden had fallen in front of me.
In her entire life, according to her mom, Vogel had never finished last, and she could have kept on going. She could have, but she didn't.
She just all of a sudden was there, and I didn't know what was going on at first, and then once I realized, I was pretty amazed. I didn't expect that, definitely.
Instead of running past her, Vogel ran to her, helping McMath to her feet. And then, with her last ounce of strength, carried her the final 30 meters across the finish line, making sure that McMath finished ahead of her.
I just kind of got her across the line and just shoved her a little bit and then put her arm back around my shoulders.
As it turned out, Megan not only lifted Arden McMath that day, she lifted everyone in the stadium.
People just started coming up to me, and it's kind of overwhelming because I just was like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just helped her up.
I was in tears, and if I talk about it too much, get emotional about it.
Why do you get emotional?
It was just a beautiful thing.
After about an hour in the training room, McMath finally felt a little better and a little embarrassed. But upon reflection, she was happy to be a part of an inspiring story.
I think it was a really good thing. She definitely showed a lot of people what high school sports are all about.
I don't think that she thinks that what she did is all that terribly outstanding, but obviously the rest of us do.
There are different paths to every finish line, and some leave a trail. To everyone who saw what she did that day, Megan Vogel will be remembered as the runner who was a winner, even when she finished last.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of her, obviously. Always am.
And please welcome Megan Vogel. Well, this is a perfect time to honor sportsmanship at its best. The virtues we celebrate, like kindness, compassion, and generosity, are what the holiday season is all about. That spirit was alive when our next award recipient took to the mat in a wrestling match last winter. In this season of giving, Demetrius DeMoss' act of sportsmanship is a wonderful gift. Take a look.
Most trophies are made of metal and plastic, but they're won with sweat. And when it comes to wrestling in Georgia, next to the state championship, there is no trophy more coveted than one from the South Metro Tournament, the oldest meet in the state.
It's a big deal.
For the team at McIntosh High School in Peachtree City, it's on their minds from the first practice of the season.
It's the one tournament you really want to work hard for.
During his junior year, few worked harder at McIntosh than Demetrius DeMoss, who has learned to love the sport.
You have two things going on at once. The physical side, should I pull here, should I grab here, should I hit here, and the mental side.
His coach says Demetrius has the qualities you need to be a good wrestler.
Strong, aggressive, for me, coachable.
And he says the biggest heart, a heart that's still healing.
January 7th, 2006, he was in a helicopter crash in Tal Afar, Iraq, and didn't make it out of it.
Demetrius's dad, Army First Lieutenant David DeMoss, died while serving our country when Demetrius was just 10 years old.
His dad and he were like bosom buddies. And I think that fact of no longer having that presence there has been difficult.
I felt like it was up to me and my brother to become the men of the family.
No one should have to grow up so fast. But somehow Demetrius never grew bitter. That's why, when it came time for the South Metro Wrestling Tournament, he was ready for a very special match. Meet one of the most popular kids at Georgia's Union Grove High School, Michael Lynn.
Michael
was born with Down syndrome.
Like Demetrius, Michael is also a wrestler. He joined the team for 2 reasons. 1, he loves professional wrestling.
I like the WWE.
And 2, he loves being around his teammates.
Because they're my friends. They're my guys and they're friends.
Though he was on the team, Michael never had the chance to actually wrestle in a meet. That is until the 2012 South Metro tournament.
I was excited, a little nervous too, because I wasn't sure how it was going to be received by everybody.
The coach at Union Grove called the coach at McIntosh and asked him if they had a team member who would agree to wrestle Michael in an exhibition match. The person to step up was none other than Demetrius Demas.
Speaks a lot about him to not only agree to do it, but the way he did it.
Hundreds of people were there that night at Union Grove, including 40 teams of wrestlers. And it seemed almost everybody stopped to watch and to wonder how Demetrius would handle it.
He hates losing, so it was just like, what is he going to do?
I was thinking to myself, well, if I could only wrestle one time, if I could only experience this one time with the crowd watching me and the cameras on me, how would I want it to be? And so I tried to make it as fun and as special as possible so you can have something to remember.
Winning takes skill. What Demetrius did took character. He didn't just lay down and let Michael win. He made him earn it.
Demetrius took Mikey down a couple of times. Mikey took Demetrius down a couple of times.
And when it was over, through tears, most saw that Michael Lind was the winner, but Demetrius was the champion.
He comes over, and I just gave him a big hug, and I said, thank you.
The reason I started to cry was because I stopped to think about Demetrius and how he took his time and his focus away from what he was there to do, and to do this for my son. That's gonna make me cry again.
Though he received a standing ovation from the crowd and hugs from his teammates for a job well done, Demetrius still didn't think he did anything that special. In fact, the first time his mom found out about all this was when we told her.
He never said a word. Anything that he does to help somebody, he figures everybody should be doing it. So what's the big deal?
Strength doesn't come from the gym. It comes from the soul.
It brought something out of me. It just made me feel like I need to become a better person myself and try to amount to what he was doing.
To show compassion and love towards somebody else. They may not be as fortunate as they are. That's a blessing.
There is no trophy for what Demetrius Demas did that night. Only the reward of knowing, for some, it will be a memory that will gather no dust.
I love you, man. You're cool. You're a good guy.
And help us salute our next honoree from Peachtree City, Georgia, Demetrius Demas. One of the things you should know that when we first contacted Demetrius about this award, he thought we were kidding. He said, "What, me? Yeah. You had no idea that you did something that was so special, did you?"
No, I didn't. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I thought that we were just having fun, and apparently somebody thought it was special. Yeah. A few people thought it was special.
I guess so. Demetrius, congratulations, and thank you very much.
Still to come on the National Sportsmanship Awards, the basketball coach who gave an opposing player a 1,000-to-1 shot. Plus, a major announcement regarding one of the best baseball players in history.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Lombardi, president of Maryville University. Welcome to the National Sportsmanship Awards. We are proud to support this inspiring event, and we commend the honorees for their class and character, and we salute their commitment to excellence. Maryville's also proud to be ranked the #1 overperforming university in U.S. News & World Report. I invite you to visit maryville.edu to learn about our academic and athletic programs. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show.
Now, some acts of sportsmanship are planned in advance. Others happen in the spur of the moment. Our next story is a blend of both. It began with an inspiring idea to reward the perseverance of a teammate and opponent. It culminated with a spontaneous decision that produced a real-life Hollywood ending.
When the day begins here, honor is the first to arrive, followed shortly by solemnity and respect. This is the sacred ground of Gettysburg National Military Park in Pennsylvania. And in the shadow of all that history is a school with plenty of history, and it too has a Gettysburg address. But for sports fans at Gettysburg College, it's a recent memory that still has people talking.
Hollywood couldn't write a script this great.
It was senior night for the basketball team, and though he was a team captain, Corey Weissman was making the first start of his college career.
We recruited him because we thought he'd be an excellent point guard.
Weissman scored more than 1,000 points in high school and was actually in line to be a starter in just his sophomore year when something went terribly wrong during an off-season workout.
All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I got this piercing headache.
Weissman's left arm went numb, and after a teammate carried him to the training room, he was soon rushed to the hospital with the symptoms of a stroke.
The initial report was that they were very concerned about the pressure on his brain.
Doctors discovered that Corey had a malformation on the right side of the brain, and some arteries and veins had burst.
It was, it was scary.
It was touch and go for a while, but when the danger finally passed, after 2 weeks in the hospital, he was taken by ambulance to a rehab center in New Jersey.
To hear them say that, I couldn't use the left side of my body, it was just so bizarre.
The stroke took away Corey's ability to use the left side of his body, but not his desire to play basketball.
Just the hope that I was going to be back and playing basketball is really what drove me the whole time I was at rehab.
In his mind, the difference between the impossible and the possible lied in his determination. And so he pushed himself up the rehab mountain. He returned to college the following semester, helping the team out in any way he could, never missing a practice.
And I think what was incredible is his teammates really welcomed him. They took care of him.
So for senior night, Coach George Petrie made the decision to start Corey. The plan was to let him play just a few seconds.
Give it to Corey Weissman, who rolls it out of bounds.
But the atmosphere for the game against Washington College was electric.
It was a surreal experience. It was different than any senior day that I've ever witnessed.
A month earlier, the Bullets lost in overtime to Washington, but this time, perhaps spurred on by Corey's appearance, Gettysburg had an 18-point lead with less than a minute to play. That's when Coach Petrie looked down his bench.
I turned to Corey and I said, hey, I want to go back in the game. And of course, he's like, you kidding me? With 59 seconds left in the game, I happened to look back at the scores table, and he's standing there waiting to come in. It was a pretty powerful moment.
Moments after Corey entered the game, and with his team completely out of it, Washington coach Rob Nugent called a baffling timeout. What nobody knew is that Coach Nugent had instructed one of his players to foul Corey.
Corey Weissman is fouled by Flanagan.
To give him a chance to earn his first college points.
And the only thing I could do was put myself in Corey's shoes and think about what would be the best scenario for us to play out.
With 17 seconds left, Corey Weissman walked to the free throw line with 2 shots.
Gettysburg is standing. The whole bench is standing. Everyone in the stands is standing.
I wouldn't want it any other way. I think the way he looked at it was, Corey's a fighter. Let him earn it. So when I finally got to the line and got the ball, I sensed that, the whole the whole gym was looking at me.
Perhaps it was all those eyes or the eerie silence that enveloped the gym, but Corey's first shot missed badly to the left.
The first one is no good.
And for whatever reason, when I got the ball for my second free throw, all of the butterflies and everything just went out the window.
The place erupted with cheers and tears.
We all had goosebumps. Many of us had tears in our eyes. It was a really moving experience for a lot of people.
Corey Weissman made just 1 point for Gettysburg, but Washington College had made a point for sports fans everywhere.
I can't say enough about the sportsmanship that he showed. I don't know that there's any other coach in the country that might have thought of that.
Here we were in a year with the scandal at Penn State and so many things that you hear about that might be wrong with college athletics. This was something that was extremely right.
1,000 to 1, from scoring 1,000 points in high school to just 1 in college, and beating those kinds of odds to do it. And as Corey Weissman has learned from the cards, letters, and emails he still gets, determination can often serve as inspiration.
Corey did this, I could do this too. And I mean, that's been, the best part about the whole story.
We're very happy he accepted our invitation to be here tonight to serve as one of our award presenters. From Gettysburg College, Corey Weissman. Accepting the award on behalf of Coach Nugent and their school, please welcome Washington College graduates Adam Namick and Sal Schettino. Some people may not know is that this story is being turned into a movie. Tell us about that.
I just think the movie goes a long way with telling people that with hard work and dedication, you could achieve whatever you want. But at the same time, I think it talks a lot about sportsmanship and how what athletics should really be about. Teaches coaches, players, and everyone the right thing to do.
And where will we see this movie?
Hopefully late spring, early summer.
Well, Corey, you are an inspiration to everyone here. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There's more to come on the National Sportsmanship Awards. Up next, the soccer coach who did the unthinkable and took a goal away from his own team in a tie game. The National Sportsmanship Awards, presented by Maryville University, sponsored by Edward Jones, making sense of investing. First Bank, banking on your future. American Airlines, get a jump start with flight status notifications, mobile boarding passes, and mobile apps from American Airlines. And Maryville University, live Maryville at maryville.edu.
We didn't have to go very far to find our next honoree. Although this event prides itself on its national scope, we're always happy to recognize a local story that rises to the level of extraordinary sportsmanship. Such was the case in a high school soccer game that took place just a few miles from here. It featured an admirable display of integrity, made all the more impressive when you consider what was at stake.
Same progression, quickly, get it going, everybody's moving.
At the St. Louis Priory School, in addition to English and math, there are lessons about character.
Roles. Everybody switch roles, one more time, quickly.
Head soccer coach John Mormon, whose first couple of teams only won a handful of games,
a little more communication,
also had to teach patience.
And we had a lot of years like that where, it was just victories were hard to come by.
Not anymore. After 20 years, Mormon's teams now always rank among the top in the state, and they're coming off a perfect 27-0 state championship season.
We had our eyes on the prize, and we weren't gonna hold back.
They were good. I don't think I've seen a high school team, at least at our class, be that dominant, be that consistent, game in and game out.
When you win a championship,
good start, White, good start.
Every victory is memorable, but one in particular was remarkable. In the district playoffs, Priory faced off against Westminster Christian Academy.
Priory and Westminster had played twice during the regular season, with Priory winning handily both times. But in that first district playoff game, Westminster was giving them all they could handle.
It was very rainy and windy, and it was very harsh conditions.
Kind of a swirling wind day, and kind of a day where, you know, the finesse game that Priory has was not going to work.
The year before, Priory was the top-ranked team in the state until they were upset in the district playoffs.
Oh my goodness.
So their fans started to get nervous when the game against Westminster remained scoreless through the first 30 minutes. Then, finally, the ball bounced Priory's way. A rebound off the crossbar, and it was 1-0 Rebels.
I think their players kind of hesitated for a moment. He stuck it in the goal, and you felt that relief.
I just remember jumping up, arms in the air, thinking, finally.
But something was amiss. The Westminster players complained to the officials that the ball not only hit the soccer crossbar, but the football crossbar as well, making it out of play.
5 of them stopped in the middle of the play. They didn't play on. They thought it was going to get called up for out of bounds as hit the post.
The referees didn't see it that way. They counted the goal and were about to restart the game with Priory in front when Coach John Mormon stepped off the sidelines and onto the field.
And I called the ref that was closest to me over to the side and just told him it wasn't a goal.
For a moment, it seemed no one could move. The coach of the team that scored the goal convinced the officials it should be disallowed.
I was shocked. I mean, no coaches ever take back a goal themselves.
And he was risking a perfect season, you know, a chance for a state title for his team.
My first reaction is that's totally classy. I said that takes a lot of courage.
I mean, I wanted to win the state championship. Everybody on our team did. You know, we were thinking about it before the season even started, but we didn't want to get through on that.
One of the Priory parents, Don Anselm, was taping the game, and when he slowed down the video, he thought it did hit the football crossbar. And in his mind, the soccer field became a classroom that day.
You know, what better way to not only teach them English and soccer, but also teach them honor.
Priory did eventually score again and hung on to win 1-0 on the way to that perfect season. In time, the players may not remember the Westminster game, but it will stay with them just the same.
We know that that's a way to go through life, that we have to play it fair, we have to do what we know is right no matter what.
One coach respecting the game and his opponent and showing there's never a wrong time to do the right thing.
Sportsmanship can be contagious too.
So here he is leading the Rebels on stage. Let's salute John Mormon.
Straight ahead, the grand gesture by an NFL head coach who signed a player who had no chance of playing for his team.
Well, so far we've seen sportsmanship at its best at the high school and college levels. Well, there are plenty of class acts in the pro ranks too. A shining example, an uplifting move made by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and coach Greg Schiano this past offseason. It was a free agent signing that won't necessarily translate into more wins for the franchise, but it brought immense joy to an inspirational figure.
The Sportsmanship Awards salute Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Greg Schiano. When Schiano was head coach at Rutgers University, one of his star players, Eric LeGrand, suffered a severe spinal cord injury during a game that left him paralyzed. The two men became very close, and so this year, after Schiano moved to the NFL, he signed LeGrand as a free agent.
It was something that I felt was the least we could do. You know, Eric definitely would have been an NFL football player had he not gotten injured, and this was his draft class, and I thought it was an opportunity in some small way to give him just a little excitement.
You know, they accept me to be a part of the family, the owners. Everyone, the GM comes up to me, we all have a great conversation.
LeGrand retired soon after he signed, but the Sportsmanship Awards recognize Greg Schiano for his grand gesture.
like to thank the St. Louis Sports Commission for recognizing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Eric LeGrand for this award. And you know, the part that we did really was not very big. We offered Eric a contract to be part of our team, but the guy who is special is Eric LeGrand. I'm very proud of him, and I know his mother's very proud of him, and he's a guy that we can all look to for that inspiration. So thanks again.
Up next on the National Sportsmanship Awards, how a star high school athlete gave back to all those who helped him through his darkest time. Welcome back to the National Sportsmanship Awards, presented by Maryville University and produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission and the National Sportsmanship Foundation.
Our final honoree was a high school football and basketball standout. He has been called amazing, but not because of what he did on the field, but for rather what he has done off the field, away from the court. That's where you get the greatest sense of Rashawn King, his character, his strength, and his maturity. It's there he made an incredibly selfless decision that's most deserving of our recognition.
In Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, they like to say that Middle Creek High School is in the middle of nowhere.
We are a Wake County high school that isn't owned by a township.
The school actually draws its 2,000 students from 7 different townships. Rashawn King was willing to catch a bus at 6 a.m. every day for 4 years just to go here.
And he was determined, and he told me, if you send me to Middle Creek, I promise you I'll stay on the honor roll. And I promise you I will succeed.
And King had other options. Nearly every high school in the area wanted him because he was an exceptional athlete.
Rashawn was bigger than everybody. He was faster than everybody.
Exactly what you want in a high school athlete. Works hard, cares for others, and you know, just selfless in a lot of ways.
By the time he finished his sophomore year, he was a standout on the basketball court and as a running back on the football team. Whenever he needed a push, he got it, not from his coaches, but from home.
My mom, actually, she stand on me every day, every night, you know, pushing me, you know, to do good in my, not only in sports, but in my grades, you know, especially my grades. That was the main thing, the main focus and the main key.
Then one day in 2010, after returning from summer football camp, Rashawn King was tackled by an opponent he never saw coming.
He came home from camp and he told me, I don't feel good, I'm really tired.
The feeling lasted for days. After several trips to the doctor and a battery of tests, Rashawn's mom got the bad news.
The doctor on the phone told me, your son have some form of cancer. I need you to get him to UNC Hospital as fast as you can. And Miss Mary, I am so sorry.
The first thing that came to my mind was, well, my grandmother, she had breast cancer, she died from cancer. My uncle, he had pancreatic cancer, he died from cancer. So when I heard the word cancer and leukemia, I thought death instantly.
At just 17 years old, Rashawn King was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. He walked into the hospital, and less than an hour later, he was lying in intensive care, connected to a half-dozen machines.
The doctor was telling me, if you hadn't got him here within 24 to 48 hours, your son would have been dead.
Yes, sir, I was scared, you know, but I had to get over that fear, and I had to get over that and tell myself, okay, Ray, this is your life is on the line, so I have to fight for my life.
Back at Middle Creek, word spread quickly. Pretty soon, his coaches, teammates, and fellow students started showing up to the hospital to show their support.
Over 88 players came and sat out in the lobby, and they know they couldn't go in and see him. Most of the players on the team, they just wanted to be there.
You had to tell guys, don't go up there, you know, stay away. He needs his rest.
But they didn't rest at Middle Creek. As Rashawn began his battle, they were determined to help him fight. Students held fundraiser after fundraiser to help pay for medical expenses, all as a part of a Pray for Ray campaign.
Everyone, if they knew Rashawn, if they didn't know him, they all kind of became one in helping to raise money, helping to support him, and doing everything they could to try to get him, you know, on the road to recovery.
The students that couldn't visit him wrote him letters.
He would just sit and read those letters and cry and just say, just to know that people love you.
Then one day, while still in the hospital, Rashawn was contacted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The organization grants wishes to young people facing life-threatening illnesses. And Rashawn decided his wish would be to meet his athletic idol, basketball superstar LeBron James.
And he's a person that a lot of people would love to be, or would love to just be in his presence for one day.
But then, after giving it some more thought, Ray started thinking about all the people that supported him here at Middle Creek High School. So he called Make-A-Wish and he said, I still love LeBron James, but I have a different idea for my wish.
We often see wishes to meet celebrities. It's one of the big things that kids wish for and young people wish for. But it's very unusual to have a young person decide that they want to take that wish and impact others' lives positively.
Instead of meeting LeBron James, Rashawn's new wish was to provide lunch for the nearly 2,000 students, staff, and faculty members at Middle Creek as a way of saying thank you for your support.
I was just sitting there thinking like, you know, I'm not gonna be selfish. I'm gonna give back to those who helped me out. It was an amazing day. It was the best day of my life. Just seeing the students and the staff here at Middle Creek happy made me happy.
And he wanted to hug every kid or tell them thank you, every one of them.
Another wish also came true for Rashawn. His cancer was in remission. Though he still takes almost 30 pills a day and makes monthly trips to the hospital for chemotherapy treatments, he is now a business major in college at North Carolina Central, where he just made the basketball team as a walk-on.
Yes, sir, it's still a passion for me. I still have the heart and the determination to go out there and play my sports and not gonna give up.
Even in times of darkness, with help from his friends, Rashawn King was always able to see the light.
When you see him now, what goes through your mind?
I mean, Rashawn's a blessing to us all. I mean, it's just a blessing.
He said thank you for what everyone at Middle Creek did for him. I don't think he truly realizes what he did for everyone at Middle Creek.
Perhaps proving that an athlete's strength doesn't come from the gym, but from his character.
Every day that I get to spend a day with my child, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful.
And now, the award recipient himself from North Carolina Central University. Here is Rashawn King. Here's something that we didn't tell in the story because we wanted to tell it here tonight. You did get to meet LeBron James.
Yes, I did.
Tell us about that. And that was very recent.
Not only did I meet LeBron James, I met the whole Miami Heat basketball team, the whole Charlotte Bobcats. I also met Coach K, Pat Riley. I met a lot of guys.
Pretty good night.
Yeah, I was sitting outside the locker room after the game, and I got numerous questions in my mind I want to ask LeBron. And I finally get to go in, and he walks up to me, and he has his hand behind his back, and I'm sitting like, okay, I'm trying to shake your hand, dude. Pull your hand out. So he pulls his hand from behind his back, and he has a size two pair of shoes, a size 16 signed. Those are the exact shoes that he wore that night when he played with the Charlotte Bobcats. And all my questions and all the things I wanted to ask him just blew out the window, and I was sitting there like, just froze up. And he was like, you know, you're a very inspiring kid. You inspire me. And he's like, keep doing what you're doing, and I just love the things that you do. And I just froze up. I was looking like a clown, just sitting there like, oh my God, like this is LeBron James.
Well, yeah, it's LeBron James. He, by the way, is sick tonight. He didn't even get to play, but he wanted you to know that he sends his best to you and everybody here in this auditorium tonight. Rashawn, congratulations, and thank you very much for being with us. Rashawn King, everybody.
When we come back, a major announcement regarding the National Sportsmanship Awards and one of the greatest baseball players of all time. The National Sportsmanship Awards, presented by Maryville University, sponsored by Edward Jones, making sense of investing. First Bank, banking on your future. American Airlines, get a jump start with flight status notifications, mobile boarding passes, and mobile apps from American Airlines. And Maryville University, live Maryville at maryville.edu. His career and life after baseball are defined by excellence, dignity, generosity, and class. His nickname was simply The Man, because Stan Musial was the man. In a 22-year Major League career, all with the St. Louis Cardinals, he had a lifetime batting average of .331. With 3,630 hits, he was a 24-time All-Star, a 3-time Most Valuable Player, and a Hall of Famer. It was just last year that the 92-year-old was honored at the White House with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's fitting, then, that Stan Musial's family is on hand tonight, because going forward, the National Sportsmanship Awards are being renamed the Musial Awards, a fitting tribute to the player whose statue stands outside Busch Stadium with the inscription, "Here stands baseball's perfect warrior. Here stands baseball's perfect knight."
I'm Frank Viverito, president of the St. Louis Sports Commission, and I'm pleased to be joined on stage by the Musial family. It was our hope that Stan would be here tonight, and that was indeed the plan, but unfortunately he's a little under the weather, so we hope Stan feels better soon, especially in time for his 92nd birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Sportsmanship Awards will now be known as the Musial Awards.
On behalf of my grandfather, Stan Musial, and the rest of the Musial family, I'd like to thank the St. Louis Sports Commission and Maryville University for renaming the National Sportsmanship Award the Musial Awards. I'd also like to congratulate all of this year's recipients. In a world focused on winning, it's refreshing to see recognition of sportsmanship, a quality my grandfather has always embodied.
Up next, we salute all our honorees for 2012. Learn more about the Musial Awards at musialawards.com. There you can watch all the inspiring stories from this year's National Sportsmanship Awards. And be sure to follow the Musial Awards on Facebook and Twitter.
Let's bring them back to the stage one more time. Here are our honorees. And there you have it. On behalf of the St. Louis Sports Commission, thank you for joining us for the National Sportsmanship Awards presented by Maryville University, and good night from the Edward Jones Auditorium in St. Louis.